Hello, everyone. I hope you and your loved ones are all safe and well wherever you are. Be curious, not judgmental, were the words of Walt Whitman, the great American poet. Powerful words that are timeless and even more relevant today than ever before. Empathetic or compassionate leadership has found a whole new meaning and need today, especially in this pandemic where we're seeing a disproportionate amount of impact among minorities, people of color, those in the LGBTQ plus community, and many other marginalized groups. In both work and in life, empathy is like a superpower that will allow us to learn more, do more, and gives us a larger purpose. It brings out the best in us. My parents have always led their life with compassion and empathy, helping all those who came to us. A lot of times, we didn't have enough for our own. However, they would say, help everyone that comes to you without judgment. That's not something I appreciated as a teenager. I felt we have to evaluate and only help those who deserved our help. But my parents shared that same empathy with me. They helped me listen and learn, and I am glad they gave me the gift that is helping me today, not just in my work life, but overall. The best form of empathy starts with proximity, getting close, that drives us towards learning more about what is happening and gets us to do the right kind of action. To quote Brian Stevenson of the Equal Justice Initiative, when you are proximate, details emerge, insights emerge, understandings emerge that you will not achieve from a distance. And hence there's power in proximity, and that proximity will lead you to take action. So, can we train to be empathetic, or should you be born that way? Do you need to have parents who give it to you, or is it a skill? Like confidence, can we train ourselves to be more empathetic? As leaders in organizations, can we accelerate learning both for self and for the institution and the leaders that are there so that we can take the right actions? At Cisco, we believe in building an inclusive future for all. And our conscious culture is driven by empathy and pushes us to do more, not just at work, but in the communities that we live in. I am going to share with you today 3 things that you can do to be more empathetic, both in life and at work, that will drive positive outcomes for you and everyone around you. Number 1, listen. 2, include. And 3, act and make an impact. Let me elaborate. Let's talk about listening. We all have to make an effort to listen to understand, not just at what is being said or how it's being said. We need to listen even to the non-verbal cues that are being given by our speaker. The power of a video conferencing technology like Cisco WebEx makes this happen. In fact, all of you are on some kind of video conferencing call at this moment while listening to this. This improves the way we communicate and collaborate and gives us the power of connection. In Cisco, when the pandemic happened, we saw a surge, almost a 300% increase in our customers' needs. Our team approached this with alacrity. We made more investments, people worked longer hours, there were volunteers to meet the new demand. The work continued. In fact, volunteering and giving back to the society also increased while people were increasing their workload. Fortunately, we have wonderful weekly rituals called check-ins. It allows us to listen and listen with intent and listen with purpose so that we are able to drive the actions needed in anticipation of some of the challenges that will come. Our team was definitely working a lot and they were giving back a lot. But we understood that not everybody was dealing with not everything that is going on, not just with the pandemic, the shelter at home, the social injustice challenges that were happening, personal challenges that they were facing. And we needed to take a closer look. The weekly check-ins did reveal that. As leaders, we were able to listen to all our teams, almost 20,000 plus leaders in the company, and we realized mental health had become a big challenge, along with physical well-being. Because we were all sitting in front of a computer, our postures mattered. It was very difficult for single parents, especially mothers, to take care of things. Our LGBTQ community, as we heard, has had a much more significant impact on how they were able to handle themselves during the pandemic, and unemployment, outside of the organization made things really, really difficult in our partner and customer environment. We were able to anticipate some of these and come up with what we could control and help both our teams and our communities well, whether it was physical well-being or mental health or just giving back. We also launched what is called a proximity initiative, inspired by what Brian Stevenson said. We have a goal that we will have several one-to-one conversations with people who are different from us. And the goal was simple. We wanted to understand what could we do better so that we could improve our culture, so that everybody in the organization is able to see the best parts of it equally. And that's a big task. But the proximity conversations broadened our mind because we learnt more of how to deal with the challenges that each and every one was facing. So even with the right intent, we needed to ensure there was action at the end. This proximity conversation became a big feeder to what we call our multiplier effect program, where all our directors and above sponsor someone different from themselves. People with sponsors, as you may already know, are significantly more likely to progress in their careers than those without. So it all starts with proximity and listening with curiosity. The second one, include. You've always heard the beautiful phrase, and it's one of my favorite ones, diversity is being invited to the party and inclusion is being asked to dance. One of my Cisco colleagues added, to be in Cisco is to have your song being played. How good would that be? We're all proud of our conscious culture here in Cisco, where the full spectrum of diversity, inclusive of gender, ethnicity, race, orientation, age, ability, veteran status, religion, culture, background, perspectives. All of these are covered and is enabled through the strength of our technology, where everyone is able to be heard, irrespective of where in the organization you are. The diversity of our teams, the transparency and culture of giving back are the contributing factors why we became, in 2019, the world's #1 place to work. We think about our culture as reflecting our own way of life, and it brings our community together. Even during the pandemic, a lot of good things happened, and we need to celebrate those as part of Include. Nations around the world are gradually raising to the cause of creating an inclusive environment. This year itself, New Jersey and Illinois, LGBTQ plus inclusive curriculum laws went into effect. Thailand, in APJC, moved to legalize same-sex unions. And a very rare step in Asia, and in Costa Rica, they legalized same-sex marriage as well. These milestones are a credit to the commendable and resilient efforts by the LGBTQ community and the force of its allies. It's powerful to be an ally. In Cisco, we have employee resource organizations who focus on diversity and inclusion programs. Cisco Pride is one of the most active and committed EROs in the company. I am both an executive advisor and a proud ally associated with this movement. We have already launched the global LGBTQ ally training program so that there is more of us supporting the cause. In June this year, we actually expanded the APJC Pride, where we were broadcasting live into all the countries, something we couldn't dream of before. The number of people who watched and viewed the program went up. The number of people who have come out, we have celebrated it with our colleagues as well. It has just been wonderful. We also drive cross organization, cross ERO collaboration, whether it's with the Black professionals, vets, the women of Cisco, or the Faith Network. During the recent social injustice challenges that we had in the US, our Pride group stood hand in hand with our Black and African American professionals and showed our support and asked for equal justice. There is power in inclusion. There is strength in that power. So make sure you are stepping up and you are becoming an ally for things that are close to your heart. Our long journey for an inclusive future has started well with a tribe of our own allies. And we say the allyship starts with listening and showing up. Taking action. Act and make an impact. This is the third and final tip that I will leave you with. In 2017, there was an amazing TED Talk by Adam Grant that sums up every organization. There are takers, there are givers, and then there are matchers. While takers have a fantastic positive impact on the business in the near term, in the long term, it's the givers who help companies become better. Givers lead with empathy. I'm sure having exercised or listening, the listening part and looking at what we can do to include, I'm sure you're eager to find out how to act. It is time for us leaders sometimes not just to lead, but to follow. Let us lend our voice and amplify that sometimes lone but powerful voice that is talking about the need for equality and justice, whether it's in our organization or in the society. As Brian Stevenson says, when you get proximate, you will be driven to act. Action will come from understanding. Do the right thing at work and in your community, and it will have a positive impact and also have many unintended, wonderful areas where you will see gains. We have seen extraordinary results of our community impact. 81% of Cisco gives back every year, and we're continuing to push that goal. We love doing that. We in fact do a lot of these with our families as well because it brings us together. We were able to give back even during the pandemic virtually, helping building missing maps for those who needed to be reached. Empathy is also a catalyst for innovation. Let me give you a few quick examples. Our teams in Sydney spoke with the farmers there and used technology to help them better understand how they can get more productivity in their crops. The team also went and spent time in rural Australia to expose the high school kids there to the power of science and technology. They did fantastic robotics projects, which you wouldn't have imagined were possible. Our innovators in India actually built an education app that allowed school teachers to train themselves and learn English so that they could teach their students. These are only a few examples of what is possible when you have learning, when you include, and then you're acting. We are extremely proud to have an energetic group of future leaders in Cisco who use not only their technical expertise but bring their heart to work. Because we believe with empathy and in togetherness, everyone achieves more. I'll leave you with this. One of my very awesome Cisco colleagues always says, I see you because I got to know you. What a beautiful statement is that. When you can see more than what the person is showing and see the real self, then no one is invisible. The world becomes a better place. As leaders, We leave behind a legacy of culture much beyond the stories of high profits and performance that our organization requires us to do. But with empathy, the world is a better place. You are a better leader. And it's our responsibility to nurture this and share this and build more and more leaders who drive that empathy. Always be curious. And when you see something different, listen, include, and act to make an impact. Thank you for listening to me, and take care.